Hey, folks. Wonderful to see you. So many friendly faces and nice to meet the folks that I haven't had the chance to meet in person before. Really excited for this webinar. Uh, I will, off the cuff say that my jaw hit the floor when I saw the Euros are showing lineup and how many Canadian acts were performing there. It's such a cool opportunity, and certainly we wanted to make sure that we were uh, giving folks as much information as we can before heading over there. And we're really grateful for Your Roots Are Showing for taking the time to uh, kind of put on this orientation, but also kind of introduction to the Irish market. Um, the reason for doing that and kind of our goal with this is to um, let folks ask questions, but also just kind of get an overview of what the market's like, what opportunities there are, what the challenges are of touring and getting your music out there in the territory. And then we'll talk about more kind of conference related stuff, but you can maybe generalize it for any time that you're heading over to Ireland for maybe a different conference or a festival, or just to check it out, and who you want to shake hands with and how you can get your music out there. So I want to start with that kind of overview part. I'm wondering if we can go around. I know we kind of see everyone's faces, which I actually really like, but I'm wondering if we can do a quick intro of the wonderful panelists that we have joining us. I'm going to start with Grania. I wonder if you could just kind of introduce who you are, where you're from, what you did. Um, yeah, let us know a
Do I
little
have
bit
to
about
do
you.
it in song, Roz?
You absolutely don't. As the
Full
artist on the panel, you
woman. So my name is Grania Hunt. I am a showcase artist and a panelist for Your Roots Are Showing this year, and I was last year, and I do believe that is why I am part of this panel today. But I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm based in Ireland, just outside Dublin. Um, I'm a full-time artist, and I'm just hustling life, trying to keep it going. And Lisa's laughing at me. She's my mentor and knows exactly what I'm doing. But I played Cambridge last year as a result of Your Roots Are Showing, and I'm currently working on my first US artist visa for a tour in April, May, and I'm going to Folk Alliance in February. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much. Welcome. Lisa, I kick it over to you.
Hi, Rosalind. And Joel, you really should be throwing down that Canadian beat, if we're going to have to sing who we are. I'm Lisa Schwartz. I am the artistic director and programming manager for the legendary Cambridge Folk Festival in England. No, I don't have a funny accent. I am the only American in the history of ever who has been allowed to have anything to do with this 60-year-old festival. And I am tremendously humbled and honored to be in that role. I'm also, as Grania mentioned, I'm a coach and a mentor. And I was lucky enough to be invited to the inaugural Your Roots Are Showing event last year. I had met Grania many years prior speaking at IMRO in Dublin, but saw her showcase at Your Roots Are Showing, was gobsmacked, booked her on the spot for Cambridge. So yes, artists that are on this call, it can happen. And I'm thrilled to be here. This event is really just extraordinary. It's got legs and it's running around the room. So welcome, and thank you, Rosalind and Joel, for this opportunity.
Thanks, Lisa. Charlene.
Hello. Boy, that was a wonderful, um, kind words you said, Lisa. Thank you so much. I'm Charlene Sloan. I am, excuse me, the co-founder and director of Your Roots Are Showing, along with Brendan, who's also here. And we started this, excuse me, this conference. Really kind of, we came up with the idea during the pandemic when we were kind of sitting on our hands like everybody else and thought, what can we do that's really going to be impactful when we come back? And kind of looked around the space that we were in to see what was needed, and we really felt like this sort of event was needed in Ireland, and we were extremely happy to bring it. And last year we were amazed at how many, again, Canadians we had come over that first year. Now we are even more excited to have even more Canadians with us this year. So that's an amazing, it was a surprise and an amazing, wonderful thing that happened. And yeah, so we're just delighted, and we're really, really happy to be welcoming you all next week.
Thanks, Charlene. I'm gonna welcome in Brendan there.
Hello, how
Brendan.
you doing? I'm the co-founder and director of Your Roots Are Showing. I'm from Ireland, as you can probably hear from my accent as well. I had to do a count. We have 20 Canadian artists coming this year, which is great. And as Charlene said, we're delighted to be welcoming everybody over. But yeah, it's amazing reaction from the Canadians. And I'm also a musician as well, so hopefully I can help with some insight into the Irish music market along the way. And yeah, delighted. It's hard to believe it's a week away. It felt like it was only a couple of months ago since the first one. But yeah, like I think Charlene might have said earlier, it's amazing to see some of the faces in person rather than emailing or following on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. But yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and thanks very much for Folk Music Ontario for setting this up and for you joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Welcome. So I want to start off with a question of, well, I guess I already started off with intros. I want to keep that going with a question about, let's go with like live music, touring and setting up a tour in Ireland, assuming, and this can, I think, you can approach it from a local standpoint, but then also like for somebody international coming in, what like there's a couple of questions in there that if folks want to hop in, I'd love if you could answer, like whether or not you can book a tour in Ireland as an independent artist. So maybe if you don't have an agent, or is it better to go through an agent? Typically do most people work with an Irish agent as well, as their own agent? Is there certain kinds of routing that folks that you recommend? And yeah, let's start there. I'm wondering, maybe Grania, if you want to hop in on that one first as
Sure.
the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose a little bit about Ireland. There's kind of some main cities like the likes of Dublin, Galway, Cork, Limerick, Belfast would be your kind of main spots that you might want to hit. I don't know what the situation is with Canadian artists coming here to visa wise and paying. So let's like put that aside and not, you guys can talk about that. Somebody else can figure that out because I don't know anything about that. But I think routing wise, like Ireland is a small country. The infrastructure is okay, but if realistic, if you're going to be here touring, you probably need to rent a car, and to get yourself around, because a lot of stuff kind of navigates through Dublin. So if you want to get from Belfast to Galway, which is north, east to west or midwest, so should we say, you have to come down through Dublin and go back west. So like having a car means that you can kind of get around a little bit easier. I would say as an independent artist, I think you're much better doing it independently and not working through an agent. Brendan might have a different opinion on that. Like there are things, there's always going to be kind of, the general thing here would be that you rent a venue. You're paying for a room, you're paying for a sound engineer. The venue is probably going to take a box office cut from it. They're going to take an IMRO fee from it. They're going to charge you VAT. And if you've also already got to pay then a promoter or an agent on top of that, then what you're going to take home gets minimized very quickly. And I would say probably don't have a massive expectation of what you're going to be taking home. You'll probably cover your costs, but you're probably not going to make a whole pile of money. But you would be expected to fill the room or put bums on seats and sell your tickets. And I think there's an amazing network of radio stations around Ireland that are really supportive of music and people coming to Ireland and playing shows. And if you can plan it in advance in a way that you can connect with all of those people in the localities, get into those radio stations, talk about your tour, talk about what you're doing, send them your music in advance, let them know that you're going to be in the area. And they'll very likely have you in to play a set or play your stuff and talk about you. Some of the nationals are really good for it. Fake No Brain On will give great shout outs on national radio, which is fantastic. But there is, so our PRO here is called IMRO. It's IMRO, and on their website they have a document with kind of all of the radio stations around the country that you can connect with. And there'll be a lot of like community stations, kind of more local stations, and they're well worth connecting with when you have like tours like that coming up. I feel like I've rambled on that, Roz, but if there's anything that I missed and you want me to jump back to, or maybe you can just ask Brenda.
No, that's perfect. Yeah. I guess, yeah, that was kind of a part of was going to be my follow-up question that you hit on there, which is that especially if the onus is on you to put the bums in seats as someone coming in internationally that hasn't had that, that doesn't have a built-in audience. Would you suggest like, do people share, like, do artists want to share spots? So if I was coming in from Canada to perform, what would be really amazing to me would be like to, call you up and say, hey, I'm in your neighborhood and maybe you can help, get some of your earbuds out.
Yeah, well, I think obviously like the likes of Your Roots Are Showing is an amazing place to come over and meet people that are similar to you. So if you're coming to Ireland next week to perform and showcase, then you're going to be meeting people that are doing something similar. There's loads of different types of music being showcased next week. And I think it'd be a great place to kind of make pairings and matches like that. I've done it with my friend he's from the north, but he lives in Austria. We did a tour recently around Ireland and we did 6 dates over 10 days, sort of all over. And we split a bill. We were going to do it as a trio, but the third act from Austria bailed. But anyway, I'm not talking about that. But yeah, I think like splitting a bill like that is a really good idea. And, Dave had a different audience to me because he's from Belfast. So he would have known people at that end of the country. And that really helped.
Brendan, I'm gonna pick it over to you as well from your perspective. Do you share the same thoughts there, or do you have anything to add about that?
I do. I think it can be great. You get to a certain point where you can do a lot of the work yourself, but it can be great to have an agent because yeah, they know the circuit and they know the venues. You get in that little bit quicker, and I also think it's great as well. Like Grania was on about splitting, doing a double thing, and also for support slots because and being cheeky and asking for support slots when you're coming over, and that'll really help because Irish people are very good at coming out to gigs that I've noticed, hopefully still, and yeah, a lot of people are open to new music. Yeah, I think Grania covered most of it. They were just the little things that I was thinking about.
Great. Lisa, I'm going to give you a two-part question because I feel like you might know about the visa situation. So I'm wondering if you can just like off the hop. Oh, maybe you don't. I don't know. Who knows about the visas? Anyone?
I mean,
here?
I know about coming into England, but the ununited kingdom doesn't include Ireland. So just felt compelled to say that.
Okay, well, I'm going to put that out there. If anybody, Charlene, are you unmuted? Do you know about the visa situation there?
I know generally, but not enough that I would feel comfortable saying, this is the visa process. Not for paid gigs. I feel like you would really want to find that out and be really ironclad because you don't want to end up getting to the airport and told you can't come in. So, in terms of what is allowed, I think, that would be something for one of our panelists. Actually, we're running a visa clinic at the conference, and we will have a Irish attorney on hand that will be able to kind of go through and give people an overview as to what that means, how they can stay, within the visa confines.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm also giving a challenge to everybody on this call that if you can Google what the actual visa requirements are and put them in the chat, I will send you a t-shirt. First person to do it. It's real information. Lisa. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because I've been part of a musical for the last couple of years where there were a couple of Americans involved and their vibe was that they weren't getting paid here. So they weren't coming in to make any money here while we were performing. They were getting paid in the US because there wasn't a US person involved. But they didn't have a visa to be performing here. I think if you were coming and playing open mic nights, trying to connect with people, playing a couple of gigs for cash, maybe not, you'd probably get away with it. You'd be fine. I don't think there's going to be too many questions asked, but I think if you're going to be invoicing for gigs or playing in venues that you're contracted to do, or there's like official fees, then you'd absolutely need to be doing it in an official capacity.
Yeah, I feel like for the Canadians in the room, we're so close to the US with very strict visa stuff that part of my language, we don't fuck with visa things, we're pretty by the book when it comes to that stuff because a lot of folks know that you can get burned if you try to sneak under the radar. Lisa, my second part of the question is festival specific. So, we're probably mostly familiar with the idea of using like a festival as an anchor date when booking tours. And whether it's England or Ireland and kind of the area, how much do like festivals talk? If you were booking a band at Cambridge, would you like talk to other folks around in the region to try and set up other gigs for them, or is there like a way to, if you do end up booking a festival, if someone gets a festival through the conference, which I'm sure everybody will, how can they follow up and kind of start booking something around that date?
So for Cambridge specific, I definitely do that. I mean, I am in contact with WOMAD, Shrewsbury, Ely, other festivals of similar size or in the window. I mean, it would be knowing the touring window. So if they were coming over if an artist was coming to me at the end of July, we would be talking about what else do you want to do? And I'm happy to make recommendations. I also know of venues and things like that. Not everybody does that. I do. I don't have a problem with doing that. There is on the visa tip, I did put a link in the chat. I already have one of your fabulous t-shirts, so someone else can have it. But as to from the Irish Embassy, Canadians visa requirements to come in to Ireland. That being said, to come in England, to perform in England for a fee, you need a sponsorship letter. So I provide one to whomever is performing at Cambridge. That being said, you can't then tour around on the letter that I provide you. You would need a sponsorship letter. Now I can recommend, people who have already been approved through, British Gov that will help with that. They can work as in the capacity, as Brendan spoke about it, as an agent, or you can do it on your own, and they just make sure that you're not going to get yourself in trouble. But I do reach out to other festivals to see if there's anything, to help with. Like if I'm bringing somebody in that no one's ever heard of, it can help. It can definitely help if I, pick up the phone and I call, Paula Henderson from WOMAD and say, hey, do you have a slot? Here's this artist, or Sandra at Shrewsbury. So, and I have a pretty good tight. I mean, I'm very Canadian in that regard. I have a good cadre of festival buds that I love to talk to, and we pitch back and forth to each other. I will say that is not the norm. That is definitely not the norm.
What is and maybe I'll throw this to Charlene because I haven't asked you one yet. But if anybody else wants to hop in, please do. What's like the festival circuit like in Ireland typically?
So that would probably be a better question for Brendan. To be honest, we produce festivals, but I kind of tend to be myopic. It's extremely active. There's, through the summertime, there is loads of festivals happening from, every point of the country. in terms of different types and flavors of festivals as well. So it's not just, traditional or folk. There's all kinds of festivals from, hip hop to Latin, which we do at Latin Festival. So there's a lot to choose from. In terms of booking, I don't book artists out into them, so I wouldn't be the best person to ask that question to.
Brendan, did you want to hop in on there as well?
I will say that, yeah, ever since lockdown and everything started back open again, that there are a hell of a lot more festivals in Ireland there than I've ever seen in my life, which is a great thing. And it's all times of the year. It used to be just kind of, late spring, summer, early autumn sort of thing, but they're everywhere, and which is great. And it's a hell of a scene for a musician to see that there's so many different opportunities for artists to play. I don't know how some people can keep up with playing so many gigs. It's a budding scene at the moment when it comes to festivals. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you can give us also like an idea of and again, like in Canada, we have like a very specific idea of what we have like a what I will call like a Canadian model of festival or folk festival specifically I'm thinking of. In Ireland, like are they mostly outdoor festivals? Are they mostly in venues? Do you have like kind of a system or a model that kind of proliferates throughout the country?
I'd say they're outdoors mostly. I'm sorry, Grania, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say the same, really. Like, I mean, there'd be a lot of things that would be, for all intents and purposes, like a pop-up, shall we say, like big tents, marquees, that sort of stuff that would come into a locality. But then you'll have a lot of things, like a lot of large towns and sometimes small towns in Ireland would have things called arts festivals. So they wouldn't just have music, they'd have theatre and comedy and spoken word and gallery exhibits and photography exhibitions, and so they'd have lots of different things. So that would be then within the various venues of the town. And you could have like music venues or theatres hosting music, but also you could have various other venues hosting music as well for things like that. So I suppose depending on the size of the festival, that would dictate kind of where things would be. There would be like during the summer, like things like the marquee in Cork. So they have a huge marquee that they put up in Cork City. There's one in Galway as well, I think. It's like a big circus tent and they host gigs and that's part of like the Galway Arts Festival. So they would be very kind of venue specific or location specific sort of venues. But then around the country there are smaller, more intimate things that happen in, I suppose, connected to arts festivals or connected to local town festivals or county events or things like that. So it's pretty varied, I think.
Thank you. And be careful about some of those festivals. I went to the Galway Arts Festival once and ended up moving there for like a whole year. It was so cool. So yeah, highly recommend, but not if you watch out. You might just fall in love. The is there like any sort of specific way that you have seen people like to be approached? So this can involve the conference as well. But if I'm looking to perform at one of these arts festivals, if I'm looking to perform at let's like leave out the book yourself kind of venue model for now. If I'm approaching like an artistic director, yeah, what is there like a way to go about it that's respectful but gonna catch people's attention?
You want me to answer that, don't you?
This one's up for grabs for anyone.
Well, do you know what? I mean, I'm super approachable and everybody knows it. And that's why I end up having, 400 email. My inbox looks like Chernobyl. But there's a lot of amazing opportunities. I know I feel like I'm going to have to send Brendan and Charlene my bill for 20 quid after this. There are so many opportunities that they have set up for networking, for they've broken down the barriers. They've made it so that everyone's, it's comfortable, it's safe to just kind of sit and chat. The gig fair, which is like speed dating. So I think I would say, look, all the Canadians that I've worked with have been very well trained to not rock up to somebody and say, hi, book me. I mean, it's all about building the relationship, right? So you're all very well versed at being human first and business people second, which I very much appreciate. Have a really good EPK. Ask, I believe life's about invitation and permission, right? So ask permission. Is it okay if I send this to you? Great. Is it all right if I send you an email? Absolutely. Once that happens, that's about as respectful as you can get, Rosalind. And I think that, it's about just how do you set yourself apart from everybody else that's bombarding my emails. And that's really just about saying, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Like, hi, really pleasure meeting you. You said it was okay to send this to you. Hope you're having a great day. Bye. Awesome. So, and that's usually works really well for me.
Okay, I'm gonna, you mentioned the gig fair. Charlene, maybe do you want to weigh in on maybe describe the gig fair and talk about some of the other opportunities during the conference that people will have to either pitch or kind of network with buyers?
Yeah, so one of the things that Lisa said that I loved a lot was that we are a really warm kind of space, and the whole kind of vibe that we wanted to create with Your Roots Are Showing is one of being kind of like in your living room, you're hanging out, you're making music, you're talking to everybody, and you're making those connections, so it's really comfortable and safe. But specifically the gig fair is also safe but really speedy. So you go through, you get your top 10 picks that you want to choose. Our programmer will kind of slot you in, and then you just kind of go from one person to the next, kind of giving your pitch and saying, who you are and what you'd like to do and why you want to talk to them. And then after that, we have a sign up sheet there for if you want to have further discussions, maybe a mentor session, a one-to-one, you can sign up there and kind of, obviously appointment making so that you can then have that conversation later. And then our other opportunities to network really kind of pop up throughout the entire conference. We have some that are booked in and pre-planned, but then a lot of them would be just spontaneous. And I think those are the best ones because that kind of, you make that authentic connection rather than being, okay, now we're going to network. You're just kind of talking and making that connection.
Thank you. And is there like a delegate list available ahead of time, or are people open to receiving like come to my showcase emails and those kinds of invitations before the event?
Yes, so we just sent out the gig fair list for people to sign up to. We do have a delegate list that we're sending out. We have something in Europe called GDPR, which is the Data Protection Act. So you have to be really sure that everybody has signed it before you can send out those emails, and not everybody has. So we're getting together the ones that we're able to send. And it's a very boring topic, but it's very serious here. You do not want to cross the GDPR, police, so to speak. So that's what we are sending out, but it won't be a fulsome list. But then when we get there, we're going to definitely have, more of those opportunities and, ways to connect.
Awesome. And then maybe while we're on this topic too, I'm wondering if maybe we can do, and this can come from any folks who have performed at the conference as well or attended as delegates, just like a rundown of like a typical day. Like what can an attendee expect when you wake up in the morning till you pass out, probably also in the morning.
Oh, maybe I can jump in here then. But something that struck me just when you guys were talking, what I did last year was, first of all, I got a notebook and I did my homework before I got there. And it's something I took from the corporate world when I used to work in language school and do conferences, was I gave everybody a page, I put everybody's name in, I put a little bit about them, and then anytime I met somebody, I took a load of paper clips with me, and anytime I got a business card, I put it in with that person. Any notes I took from chatting to them or whatever, if I wanted to contact them, if I knew anything about, like if I wanted to get back to them, if I had to send them anything, whatever the conversation. Some of the pages are pretty full, some of them aren't. Some of them people I didn't meet exactly or whatever, but do a bit of homework. All of the delegates are on the website. There's a little bit of information on each of them, and you can find out exactly who they are, who they work for, what they do, and whether you want to speak to them. And then there are pictures also, so you can figure out who people are before you even get there, and you'll be able to spot them and head for them and make a beeline for them if you want to find them in the bar or wherever. I think that's really helpful, and it makes more sense than when you're sitting at home afterwards and you don't have 50 business cards and you're going, oh God, which was that person, or who's that? I can't remember their face or whatever. So that helps. But the days are so busy, like amazing. Like I was just blown away last year. They're so full. Obviously there's panels and show panels all day long, and then showcases. The showcases start pretty early this year. I think there's like an emerging artist showcase starts at about 4, if I'm right there. There's nods and thumbs up, yes. So like sort of from the 10 o'clock in the morning, there's various panels that you can attend on just a range of different topics. There's so much going on. Like you're like literally trying to pick which one you're going to go to because you're not going to be able to get to them all. But they're great all day, every day. Just panels. You're kind of well, like, will I have lunch or will I go to this panel? That's kind of where your day gets. And then it's like, will I have dinner or will I start listening to the showcases? It's just great. There's just a vibe. There's music everywhere. The foyer of the hotel last year, there was just sessions all day long. There was sessions in the pub or in the bar session. As soon as like the showcase is finished, there's a session starts. Very, very connected and community like, and just really great, a really great vibe. Everybody's there to kind of connect with other people and learn from other people and have fun. And it's just a very welcoming thing. It's exhausting. Like it's a lot. It is, but it's really worth it. I mean, I like obviously I'm coming back to do it again this year. I had an absolutely amazing time last year, and it was really productive for me, and I just think it's great. I highly recommend it.
Yay, thank you. We appreciate that.
Does like maybe not from the artist perspective, do you have like, Lisa or Charlene or Brendan, do you have anything to add to that of like how people, I mean, maybe Charlene, like how would you like people to structure their days? What's your like vision for, the ideal way to maximize your time?
Yeah, and it's kind of the way that I would do a conference as well, but just kind of look at the schedule and decide what is your absolutely cannot miss discussions that you really want to see, and prioritize those, because you're going to get distracted by, talking to somebody, or by, maybe just walking past another panel and go, oh, I'll just listen to this for a while, and then you miss what you really came there to do. So I would kind of timetable it, maybe set yourself an alarm to say, nope, I want to go talk about songwriting right now, or I want to learn about, booking or the visa process, and make sure that you get those things into your phone to give you that little nudge or whatever it is you use. My Apple Watch actually zaps me whenever it's time for an appointment. So I don't know if you like that. I don't, but it works. So just doing little things like that, I think that really kind of helps make sure that you get to where you want to be, during the day. That being said, we also, like I said, we foster a really nice, relaxed atmosphere. So we don't want anybody to be too stressed out running around. There's lots to do and lots to see and lots to learn, but also take care of yourself and make sure that you're, drinking water, getting enough sleep, doing all those things. Sorry, I'm a mother of 4. I'm going to put those things in. You really have to just kind of prioritize your health and your mental well-being to get you through the full 5 days.
Another thing I was going to say was that we're talking about, it's just going from last year, there was an awful feeling at the end of it. I could see it happening as the conference went on, but there's an awful feeling of camaraderie. You could see friendships. I was working on the desk for a good bit, and I could see friendships starting. And I was like, "Oh, this is great!" It's the things you don't prepare for that you hope might happen. But the majority of the people that I noticed, people wanted to talk to each other. Like you can come up to us and talk to us about something or anything like that. Or, you know, if you have questions or if you need anything, feel free. We'll have volunteers there. And yeah, a relaxed atmosphere is exactly what we want to put out there and what we did put out there. And also, yeah, the sessions, that's exactly the thing. Like, that's where collaborations start. And some of them last year were incredible. And you can't timetable for those, or you can't, they're spontaneous. And it was fantastic. Some singing things, like 7 or 8 people singing at a table together, just making up harmonies. It's just, wow, you know, just things like that. So, yeah, I'm just saying it's a relaxed, spontaneous environment to be in.
And just on that, just to jump onto that for a minute, like one of my favorite parts of the conference last year was there was a group of women that just kind of like came together in the lobby in a corner and started singing together. It was Maddie Storvald was there, and the Lasses. I think Ronnie, you might have been in there for a bit, and it was just as beautiful singing as you walked through. And it was late at night, and we were like, oh my gosh, it was like angels, you know. So we went over and listened for a while, and then in the last night of our conference, during you know, a pickup showcase, somebody had stepped out, you know, of their showcase. This group decided to come up and do some of their music together that they had just put together right there in the lobby, and they had never met before. And it was just such an amazing experience and something to see. And it was really, for me, one of the best parts of the whole thing was just to see that kind of collaboration and beauty come out of that event.
Amazing. I'm going to kick it over to questions now, 4 minutes earlier than I had planned, just because I see a lot of questions coming up in the chat. So I'm guessing that folks are going to want to have a chance to ask them. I'm going to just note a couple that had been put in here, and I'm sorry if I missed some of them, but there was a question from Sorsha that was, will there be a schedule showing which times each artist is playing? Yeah, do you guys have a idea of when the detailed schedule will be released, or has it already been released?
It has been released. Everybody, every person that's performing has received the detailed list with the times and everything on it and their stages. It's also gone out to all of the speakers as well. And then we have that in our program book that is coming, you'll receive at the event. And then we also have it going up on to the website so that people are really able to see it everywhere. There's also digital boards throughout the hotel, and that's going to have the showcase times that are going to be happening then. And each showcase room is going to have the whole day schedule there. So there's many, many opportunities to see it throughout the course of the event, but then also leading up to it.
Yeah, and then there's a question here. Is there a spot in Dublin or Dundalk that rents instruments backline? And this is actually something that's come up in our in some of our emails as well with our members of folks wondering, especially folks coming from far away, if there's a place to do that. I would also like, I wonder if there's like a way, if there isn't a great place to rent something, I'm wondering if there's like a way that people can put the word out to maybe local artists. Does anyone have a?
Yeah, there is. We have a pretty good backline on each stage, so we're happy to say that it's a good backline. Brennan can tell you each thing. I'm not the musician, so he would be the better one to tell you what each of the backline is.
No.
But there are some there are some places to rent.
Yeah.
Stefan Wagen, who I'm sure you know, he is our tech manager, and he is also kind of liaising with some shops to get things like double basses. We've had some requests for a trombone. We had a request for some things like that. So we're trying our best to put our hands on those, and Stefan has been in contact with those artists. But if there's something else that somebody's looking for, please just shoot us an email or pop it into the chat here, and we'll try our very, very best to find it for you.
Great. And should we share, like, is Stefan a good person to, who's most likely to read the email? If I'm like, I need a mandolin, where do I find it?
If you send
yes.
it to contact at My Larkin Owl, Brendan and I both, no, I'm sorry, contact at Showing Roots, I'm sorry, wrong email, contact at showingroots.com. Brendan and I both read those emails. They'll come directly to our phone, and we can't miss it. We have no excuse, and we will get right back to you and tell you where the best way to reach Stefan is. He's also said that we can share his contact if somebody calls in or checks in and needs something. So we have been also letting people speak directly to him.
Fantastic. Do people want to ask questions directly? Raise your hand, ask them out loud instead of me reading them out from the chat. I'm also happy to keep reading them out.
I've got a question. Can you tell us about how the gig fair will be working?
Yeah, so the gig fair is on Thursday, and everybody has pre-submitted their, or in the midst of pre-submitting their choices, and then they'll get assigned, their top 3, I think, is what people are really doing. They have their top 10 that they've chosen, and it's like the speed dating. So it's about 5 minutes at each table, and then you have like an auctioneer guy yell out, next, everybody move, or however that works, and off they go and they talk to the next person. So yeah, it's pretty quick but very effective.
And then as a follow-up, Nikki had asked in the chat if you know how many, if you have like a rough number of how many delegates are going to be a part of the gig fair that aren't artists. So how many folks are going to be on kind of the other side of the table there?
How many people are going to be as the people that you're seeing and signing up for? There's about 35 people.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And those emails did go out. So if somebody has not received it and would like to get that sent over, we can do that.
And our friend Tom Coxworth has asked, would there be a media radio programming forum? And by forum, I'm wondering if you mean like, Tom, maybe you can ask the question, like, do you mean like a panel or like a group discussion or a place where media radio programming folks can meet? Artists? What do you mean there, Tom? Give us some context if you're able to.
Hi, everybody. This was kind of a whim me going there, but now that I see the expanse of it, I'm wondering if there's going to be radio programmers, production people, media gathering at the Folk Alliance each and every year. We have the Folk DJ meet and greet. I'm there for the music, and I'm looking to capture artists that I can feature on my program. It's been about 15 years since I've been in Ireland. So is there a gathering place like that? I will select through the various forums, and I've already started listening to various artists that I want to catch up with. Many I already know, certainly from Canada, but just wondering if there's going to be any sort of place to gather for what we call folk DJs. I'm a producer, but I'm a folk DJ. So that's the whole thing. Maybe it's just a meet and greet and gather and let people buy me pints.
Right. Well, first, it's really lovely to talk to you in semi-person, Tom. Really nice to meet you.
Semi-person, yes.
Yes, we've been talking through text, so it's lovely to see you and meet you. There's not a specific, we do have like media and DJ people coming. We didn't put that together. It's our year 2. We do have that in the works for, as we grow.
Okay.
It gives me a wonderful idea. So we do have some extra spaces in room. So why don't you and I chat and we'll put something together, as a little kind of meet and greet again, for the radio and DJs that will be there. We can do that. And it won't be, official, on our programming, maybe just at this moment, but we can throw it in there as we get closer to the event.
Yeah, we need a referee to stop somebody from talking, but we can all chat comfortably in very small spaces. Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Tom. I'm going to just note something in the chat here that Carolyn Murphy has said, if people need help navigating from A to B in Ireland via public transit or questions about that in general, to drop her a line. And she's put her, very generously has put her email in there, which is really great. That's always something that, is maybe can be an afterthought. I will also mention that I'm pretty sure in Ireland, unless something's changed since last time I was there, they drive on the left side of the road. So just note for folks when you get there and you're planning to rent a car, avoid that horrible surprise. And I didn't say wrong side of the road this time, so you're welcome, everyone. I said left side. Okay, a couple other, Bassett had the question of, do artists put up posters at this conference? And I'll say that if the answer is no, can you also follow up with what is a great way to publicize your showcase when you're at the conference?
Feel like I'm
Maybe I'll
hogging
throw
up.
that to Brendan or
Brendan,
Charlene.
Yeah, do you want to answer, Brendan?
We can both manage it. It'll be grand. Yes is the answer that they can put up. I think it's anywhere but the lobby. Am I right?
Anywhere but the lobby. They prefer
Yep.
things to be out on tables and that sort
Mhm.
of thing.
Blue
In
tack.
our, yeah, blue tech. In our vendor space, we're going to have a table that's going to be dedicated to artist materials. So you can come on in and put your stuff down there, so that people can kind of see it as they're perusing the trade fair. You can have, you know, a spot there where artists can kind of put their things. I know a lot of people don't like, you know, a lot of hotels don't like lots of posters on their walls, but we're trying to accommodate as much of that as we can to get everybody's materials out there. So we are going to have a table there dedicated to artists stuff. And then on the second floors, because as you walk into the space, and you'll see a nice map in your program book, it's the first floor is just a very big, wide open reception area. And most of the programming is going to take place on the second floor, which they call the first floor in Ireland. So when you get into the elevator, make sure you press the right button. And then the vending, you know, trade fair is kind of on that first floor, but it's outside a door. So it's all close together. But you do get a slot to put all that in there. Long-winded answer, but that's it.
Also, you mentioned something about like I mean, maybe I misheard, but like some like sort of screens as well. Do you do like, can people purchase like ads on the screens?
They can, yes. There is a screen. There's a few. I think there's about 5 throughout the hotel. And that's where really the program is going to be kind of like the schedule for the day. It rotates, it flashes, you know, through different things. So you'll be able to see the program there and then the lineup for each night. But there is space there if somebody would like to, you know, purchase and add there.
Brendan, you had your hand up. Do you want to hop? But I can't hear you. Can somebody else hear Brendan? Is this just me? No one can hear. Brendan, we can't hear you. Can you hear us? Okay, Brendan, I'm gonna give you like a second to see if you can like connect in with your, like double check if you can connect, or throw it in the chat maybe. Oh yeah, and we have this while we're waiting for you, Brendan, I'm just gonna ask another question that was put in the chat. Someone wondering if they can attend the gig fair to pitch, or can one attend the gig fair to pitch if you're not officially performing at the conference? So could people sign up for the gig fair if they're not an official showcase artist?
Yes, sorry, I'm answering all the questions. Yes, you can.
Yes.
You can. So
you
the
can.
official showcase artists get first preference of choices, and then it's opened up to whoever is attending to then also sign up. So that's why all of the official showcase artists have gotten the list and they're able to sign up now. And then at the event, you'll be able to sign up as an attendee and also do the gig fair.
1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2.
We got you, Brendan. We can hear you.
Great. Oh, hello. How are you? Sorry, I have a silly question. I'm wondering, is there any slots left for performers at the showcase? Right.
I don't think so at this point. We're pretty
Too
full.
late.
Yeah, we're pretty full. We closed our applications back in July, I think, but
I missed the boat. That's okay. No, it's just a question.
they're opening up again around April. So
April.
yes.
Okay. I might be in time next time. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and there's a Kira says, what kind of materials would be useful to bring? So you can mention posters and that there's like that table where artists can put stuff on the table. But yeah, do you recommend folks bring business cards, flyers? How do people usually like to receive information from artists?
Lisa, maybe, might be best.
And I was gonna, and it's so funny, I was say Grania. Again, you know, I'm the exception to the rule. I love CDs. I love the business cards are brilliant. If you have a QR that's on your, you know, that will link to, you know, or you have a link tree. So if you have a QR code on your business card, that makes things really, really easy. I mean, if there's a lot of one sheets, I tend not to take stuff like that. You know, it's killing trees. But I have a wonderful collection of business cards and a very robust CD collection that I then share out with all my friends.
Yeah, I'll hop on there too. One thing that I started doing that I found really effective at one of the last bigger conferences I went to was that I'm just, you know, you go onto internet, type in make me a QR code, have the QR code linked to your website or your live video, whatnot. And then I like screenshot it and then made it like the home screen of, oh, right now it's my kid, but I made it like the home screen of my phone. So all I had to do was like click the thing and then the QR code's there. So as I'm talking to someone, I can be like, oh, here's my thing. You could also like print that QR code out as a sticker and just slap it onto your badge or whatnot, or have it, you know. So yeah, the QR code, if it's likely always going to have your phone on you, you might forget your business cards, you know, in your other pocket of your jacket that's at the hotel. So home screen of the phone can be pretty handy. We got a couple minutes left. Anyone have like a
Sorry, can I
maybe
ask
one?
another question? Do you
Sure.
mind? Sorry,
Okay.
I'm not. I don't have a showcase at a conference. Is it still worth me while to come along and give out business cards? I have CDs and business cards and such. I'm late to the party. I just wasn't really paying attention. But is it still worth me while to come with business cards and CDs to meet people and make
Yes.
connections?
Yep,
Yeah,
definitely.
as an artist, Brendan, I'll jump in and say absolutely. Like, I know I definitely showcased last year, but like, there's just so many people there. It's worth coming for if you can come for the whole thing. Like, you'll just meet so many people. There's so many contacts to make. Definitely worthwhile.
Great. Okay, that's fine. Great. That's all I need to know. Thanks.
And Joel's comment is really good, getting people's contact and follow up for or contact for post-conference follow-up is great. Taking a picture of somebody's, you know, badge, having them hold the badge up next to their face. If you want to go a little more analog, you know, in between analog and digital is also a good thing. But if you're not as good at prep work as Grania is and have your notebook with you, it's good to just like get familiar with the faces and then get, you know, take pictures of it so that you can do the follow-up. There is nothing more wonderful than getting that. It was really nice meeting you in Dundalk. You know, thanks so much for the time. I mean, that's short, sweet, and it's wonderful. And that's that building of relationship that will lead to, like you're saying, Brendan, should I go if I'm not you know, a formal showcasing artist? You might end up in the best conversation with someone, and the next thing you know, you are a formal showcasing artist. So
Yeah, totally agree. And just a quick thing to go back to the previous question about how to get things. I was just thinking in my mind, like the two best things that I got that really made me think of a person after the conference was somebody gave me a pen with their name and contact details on it, and I used it, and I, you know, took it home. So I had that pen. I know it's a little bit out there for your marketing materials. And then last year we had a person, I forget her name, but she brought little personalized hand sanitizers to the conference, and it had her like a little QR code and her name on it, and she put it in her showcase room, and it was really interesting ideas. They're just kind of like out of the box ideas as to ways to get somebody's attention and say, oh, here's my, have some sanitizer. Anyway, I was thinking that.
Thank you. Okay, we're at the hour. So I just want to take a minute to thank Brendan and Grania, Lisa, Charlene, Joel, everyone for having this wonderful conversation. Ooh, look at those hearts. Nice job, Lisa. And thank you all for coming. I really I wish everyone a absolutely fantastic conference. Brendan and Charlene, you're in the home stretch, all the love and luck to you. It's Joel put the link to the WhatsApp group too. We have a Canadians at Your Roots Are Showing WhatsApp chat. So if you haven't signed up for that, I highly suggest that you do. And that's just kind of a way for us to keep in touch with each other. If there's any like logistical things, if anyone needs anything, Joel's going to be on the ground to, just be there to support. So, so please feel free to use that group chat. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day and a very, very, very safe travels and a wonderful time at the conference. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
and looking forward to
guys.
seeing you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.